For public hearing agenda items, if you wish to an application, we have comment slips at the speaker stand next to the podium. For future notification purposes, it is very important that you fill out a slip and drop it in the box when you come forward to speak. Please state your full name, mailing address, and zip code before addressing the board. We will call each case on the agenda in order and hear first from the applicant and then those speaking in favor. 10 minutes are allotted for the principal spokesperson and 3 minutes for each additional speaker. We will then hear from those wishing to speak against an application. Again, 10 minutes are allotted for the principal spokesperson and 3 minutes for each additional speaker. One representative of the application may then speak in rebuttal if desired. After hearing comments on each case, the board will then immediately deliberate and vote on that case before moving on to the next case on our agenda. Please note that when the board is deliberating, members of the public are not permitted to comment. Any member of the public may request a copy of the board's decisions on a particular case by contacting our office at 318-673-6480 after 1 p.m. tomorrow, or by accessing our website at shreveportcaddompc.com. All of the ZBA decisions are subject to appeal to either the City Council or the Parish Commission, depending on the location of the property in question. Please note that it is your responsibility to contact the appropriate governing body about their procedures as related to the matter you are concerned with. Copies of this document and phone numbers for contacting the government bodies are available on the table next to the podium and in the entryway to this room. Please remember to turn off cell phones while the ZBA is in session. We value your testimony and appreciate your compliance with these guidelines. What do we hear for the minutes from January 18th, 2007?
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Holland to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Bergeron. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, our first case today is case BAC 7-17, 1557 Acorn Street. Mr. Roan.
For it to go out of order, give him a chance to get here.
Motion by Mr. Bergeron to go out of order.
Second.
And second by Mr. Holland to move this case to the end of our agenda today. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Case BAP 3-17, 9215 Simpson Road, Walnut Hill.
Hi, my name is Tom Funkgerberta. I'm a surveyor with Moore & Associates, and I'm here representing Walnut Hill St. Mary Baptist Church.
All right, I need a mailing address, please.
Okay, 1324 North Hearn, Shreveport.
Zip code, please.
71107.
Thank you very much. All right, please continue.
All right. We're proposing to do a cemetery, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
The only note that we have, and I'm sure you're aware, is that there's an issue with the replat
Yes, sir.
or the size of the proposed cemetery.
Yes, sir. The original plat in '08 showed a lot consisting of 2 acres on the east side of the Walnut Hill St. Mary Baptist Church property, and as a result of the perimeter of our cemetery, we have already replatted, and will be submitting that for plat review early next week.
Okay. Any further questions regarding the cemetery? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak for case BAP 3-17? Anyone wish to speak against case BAP 3-17? What do we hear?
Move to approve the STIPs.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bergeron, second by Mr. Holland to approve with STIPs. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Tab 6 is case BAC 12-17, 855 Piermont Road.
My name's Matthew Sanamaw. I'm here to, the address is 855 Piermont Road, Shreveport, Louisiana, 71106. And anything else?
That's it?
Okay. I'm here to request approval for the sale and on-premises consumption of beer, alcohol, and wines at that premises.
All right. Any questions from the board?
What's the best cigar we got going from Havana now?
Got a bunch of good cigars. Yeah. Yeah. My favorite is a King Tea. Not, yeah.
All right.
Check it out.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak for case BAC 12-17? Anyone wish to speak against case BAC 12-17? What do we hear?
Who to approve as submitted?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Stewart, second by Mr. Holland to approve as submitted. Please vote. Mr. Cooper, yours didn't take.
Wasn't submitted.
Oh, sorry. Not to rush you.
I'm here now.
All right. Motion carries unanimously.
Yeah, cold.
Case BAC 13-17,
Cider.
6913 Arizona Avenue.
Yes, my name is Matthew Washington, and the address is 6913 Arizona Avenue, Shreveport, Louisiana, zip code 71129. And I'm seeking to put a double-wide mobile home on the land.
Okay. This is a new mobile home.
Yes, sir.
Are there any questions from the board for Mr. Washington? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak for case BAC 13-17? Anyone wish to speak against BAC 13-17? What do we hear?
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Bergeron to approve,
Second.
second by Mr. Cooper. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Case BAC 14-17, southeast corner of Pine Hill Road and Addison Street.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Gatlin, and I'm here to speak for my sister-in-law who owns that property, and we're speaking against,
Well, I'm taking four.
oh, four. I'm sorry.
Is the applicant here, Mr. DiGiormo?
I just applied for
Need your
Oh, I'm
name and
sorry.
address, please.
Tony DiGiormo, P.O. Box 507, Blanchard, Louisiana, 71009.
All right, thank you, sir. Please continue.
I just was applying to put a single-wide new mobile home on this piece of property. and that's it. I didn't realize she was gonna be here to, I don't know if she's contested it or not. Are you,
Well, ma'am, sir, you have to address the board.
okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. So is this a new unit or a used unit?
No, it's new.
Okay.
You going to be occupying it?
My son is, I'm speaking for him.
Are you aware of any opposition?
No, she's the lady that had the lot I was gonna purchase it from, but she called me and told me she sold it to her sister, who I think wants to sell it, so I hadn't bought the lot yet, I just wanted to make sure it was approved, so.
Okay, I understand.
I don't know what's going on otherwise.
You're in the minority to do that. Most
Pardon?
people usually, you're in the minority to do that. Most people usually put it on there and then come to us.
No, I wouldn't waste the money and then be turned down,
I
so.
understand. All right, so you don't own the property yet?
Not yet.
Okay,
no.
fair enough. Any further questions for Mr. DiGiorno from the board? All right, thank you very much.
Mhm.
Anyone else wish to speak for BAC 14-17? All right, anyone wish to speak against BAC 14-17?
I'm Carolyn Gatlin, and I'm speaking for my sister-in-law who owns the property, and she doesn't wish, as well as for a single-wide trailer to be put on that property.
Okay, so when did you sell it? Because you're listed as the
Yes.
owner.
Yeah.
Is this a recent transaction?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wait a minute, you own the property or your sister?
I did own
Okay.
the property.
When this was done, when you signed this document in December, you owned it?
Yes.
So what was your...
But he did not say at that time that they were going to put a single-wide trailer on it.
Well, what did he tell you he was gonna do?
He said that they were going to put a double-wide on this, and then he found out he hadn't given me any money, and he said that he found out his son did not have good credit because he had not paid off some things that he should have in the past. And so we didn't ever make a deal. He just said that his son, couldn't pay it. And I said, okay. And my sister-in-law said, well, I'll buy it from you. And I said, okay.
Okay, so
And I sold her the property.
Okay, so at any time, did you have a lease agreement for him? Or
No.
this was all just a proposal to purchase?
Yes.
Okay, so he was never a tenant?
No.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure we understand
Right.
all the parties. All right.
There are double wides in the neighborhood, but
Okay.
there are no single wides in the neighborhood.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Gatlin from the board?
So, I got a question.
Sure.
So I understand. So right now, we have a person asking to put a mobile home on a piece of property they don't own, and there's no agreement to own.
Correct.
Is that? And your sister-in-law, who's the homeowner, is not going to allow him to since there's
She
no
lives in
agreement,
Oklahoma.
There's no, so, but y'all are the ones that put this petition in to us to put a mobile home on it. I guess what I'm confused
No.
is y'all signed your
No,
signatures
Mr.
on the-
DiGiorno put that in.
Well, but you signed it.
Oh.
Your signature.
Well, that was originally,
Right, so
before he told me that,
What I'm hearing, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, you've asked us to allow you to put a mobile home on your property, and now you're saying
yes,
you
but I
don't
was
want us to
thinking
allow
it was a
you to put
double
home on your
wide.
property.
Does it say anything on there
just
about
says-
it being a single wide?
It just says mobile home.
Right.
So you've submitted paperwork to us that says you want us to allow you to put a mobile home, but now you say you don't want us to allow you to put a mobile home. Am I wrong in saying that you can withdraw your paperwork and that would be?
Well, she's no longer the owner, so I think we have to move forward with a vote.
If she signed it though?
Yeah, but in the meantime,
person
doubtless
who's-
she
If her sister-in-law were
sister
here,
now owns it in Oklahoma, so The only person that can withdraw this is
The
technically
homeowner.
the owner.
Technically, not the person who submitted the paper, signed the paperwork, okay.
Right. All right, so any further questions for Ms. Gatlin? All right, thank you very much. Anyone else wish to speak against BAC 14-17?
My name is Maurice L. Paget Jr., and I live at 809 Pine Hill Road. And like I say, we thought the agreement was going to be, when they're going to put that mobile home, it was going to be a double wide, because that's what's all in the neighborhood.
Okay.
And so I just want to let you know, I'm in agreement with my sister, who lives at 818 Pine Hill Road.
Okay. Thank you very much. Anyone else wish to speak against BAC 14-17? All right, Mr. DiGiormo, you have a rebuttal?
Yeah, I just,
Well, please come to the microphone.
I had no idea this was going to happen. When I offered to buy the land, I don't know if I specified a single wide or a double wide, but anyhow, it doesn't matter. She doesn't have to sell me the land, and right now, I don't want the land, so can I leave? I mean, I could care less if you put a double wide or a single wide or a brick home. She sold the land that she calls back and says her sister wants to sell it to me, but she wants $3,000 more. So
Okay.
can I just put an end to this? I don't want the land.
Sure, you don't have to buy the land.
And she doesn't have to sell it. I don't know what we're sitting here
We
doing
can-
all this
I mean,
for.
you're the applicant. You can withdraw the
Yeah,
application.
but there was nothing we said about a double wide, single
Okay.
wide.
Well, that's,
That I remember. All I was gonna do is buy a new single wide, put it on a lot, and she was wanting to sell it. Well,
Okay.
my son had a couple of ambulance bills that he hadn't paid off.
okay, that's,
So it's irrelevant, so it's no big deal, but
All right.
I don't want the land.
okay, well,
Okay.
Do you want to withdraw your application?
Absolutely.
Okay, does that work for,
Well, since he is the representative for this property and he wants to withdraw the case, that's fine with us.
okay?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right, so let the record show that the applicant, Mr. DiGiormo, has withdrawn the case BAC 14-17. All right, case BAC 15-17. (1701) Marshall Street. Oh, here we go.
Good afternoon. My name is Dwayne Baker. My address is 2205 Beckett, Bossier City, zip code 71111. And I'm seeking approval for the sale and on-premise consumption of beer, wine, and high alcohol content beverages, as well as a front and side yard variance.
Okay. So the only note that I have, that I'm aware of, is about the parking, your requirement to have the parking agreement for the lot across the street.
Yes.
Okay. And before that can be accepted, that lot has to be improved some.
Yes, sir.
Or do you know if the owner is going to be improving that lot?
I'm the owner, and yes, I intend to,
Okay.
yeah.
You have both lots?
It is required, yes.
Oh, fair enough. I thought you were entering into a parking agreement with a third party, or
No,
a
sir.
second party, I guess. Okay, so you understand that a site plan needs to be submitted for Mr. Sweeney to approve?
I just spoke with the surveyor, and there are some improvements that need to be added to the site plan, which was previously submitted, so we will correct those
Okay.
requirements.
That won't prevent us from voting today, but before any permits get issued, you'll have to get that new site plan approved administratively through staff.
No problem.
Okay?
Yes.
Any other questions for Mr. Baker? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak for case BAC 15-17? Anyone wish to speak against BAC 15-17? All right, what do we hear?
Move to approve with steps. Second.
Motion by Mr. Bergeron, second by Mr. Holland to approve with STIPs. Please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Tab 10 is case BAC 16-17, 8306 Ashburn Drive.
John J. Morales, 8306 Ashbourne Drive, I'm the owner, representing myself. I have some PowerPoint to show, if you guys would indulge me.
Are we set up for that, Ebony? While we're waiting on that, can you just give us an overview of what you're here for today?
I'm applying to remove an existing accessory structure and build a new one.
Okay.
That's what I'm here for.
Okay. That is the only stipulation, I think, is that removal of the existing.
Size and
Right.
setback, yes.
But the stipulation is that the removal of the existing structure, which is probably necessary for you to build a new one.
Implicit, yes.
Right.
You would not be able to construct a new structure
Right.
without
Okay.
removing the old structure.
And then, so tell us about the side yard setback.
Basically, there is an existing structure already there that's slightly into the side yard a little bit. And my next door neighbor
Right.
recently had an accessory structure built in line with his existing driveway, and I'm asking for that side yard variance to bring my building into good alignment with the existing driveway and be in general agreement with the other structures.
Right.
Are you next door to the farriers?
I am
Gotcha.
right next door to the farriers, and I actually have support from Robbie.
I'm sure.
Okay.
I was supportive of them, I remember.
Yes, they're very good neighbors. In fact, we just had lunch brought into my school from Farrier.
All right. Are we good?
It's plug and play, so.
Okay.
So, anyway, this is the front of the home at 8306. We've been here in Shreveport about 8 years. We reside there about 7. And then we're asking to demolish and replace the existing storage building with the variance for the size and side yard. This is my family. We very recently have grown. That's Maggie and Julia. Julia just joined us a few months ago, and they brought with them lots of new things. And they put a lot of pressure on us with storage, as you might think. And our house is well looked after. We keep it. We have a landscaper, and we keep maintenance up. Why we're looking to build the structure? Our house has no climate controlled structure, no climate controlled storage. We have no attic storeroom that has climate control or a basement. Obviously, I'm from New Jersey, so basement. But Shreveport's climate is very extreme in temperature and humidity. Our existing shed is very damp, uninsulated, and it has pier and beam construction. And stored items that we put in there, they get rusty, they get moldy, they get rotted. My wife doesn't want me to bring them back in the house after we've had them out there, particularly with the kids. It's placing a premium on the small amounts of indoor storage we have in the house. We'd like to have our cars and household items and toys and yard equipment, bikes, out of the weather so that they don't perish. You know, we like the house, we like the community, and we don't wish to move. That's our other option. House. And these are some pictures of some of the storage concerns we've got currently, and we've got a lot of kid-based things and stuff like that. I mean, it's just they took over. And so here you can see our current 403 square foot shed viewed from the street. And you can see the 720 square foot shed that the Furriers built next door last year. You can see how it's aligned with the driveway, and you can kind of see what I'm trying to do with mine. You can see some of the other buildings in the area. This is 503 Gustane. This is 505. So there's other structures in the area that are over 1,000 square feet that are in line with the ask. And this is 312 Millicent, and 8337 Ashburn, 512 Reeves, Wilderness. So there's plenty of other structures to set precedent in the area. And I just wanted to also note, because I'm asking for you to let me use siding on the sides and rear of the structure, as Robbie did with his structure, that there's plenty of visible siding in the immediate area on other structures adjacent to my property. So it would not be out of alignment with this. And this is a drawing, not the scale of what the proposed building is. It would be generally in agreement with the size and shape of the roof structures that are already there at my house and Robbie's structures, other houses in the area. The hip roof is pretty common in Spring Lake. And we do new siding on the sides, and we do a brick veneer on the front, all painted to match the house. And this is a view from the front, so you'd see, you basically would see the one garage door from the street, and the garage door would be hidden by the structure. Here are copies of the elevations that were submitted with the ask, and here's the plot plan showing, and you can see there on the outline that we do have to remove that structure. So in summary, it's being designed to conform with the neighborhood. Directly adjacent structures will be built as proposed to match the house. Foundation, general construction methods will match the house front facade. We painted to match the house, the roof pitch, hip, angle, shingle, and the driveway width of the structure will all be visible from the street. So I'd like to thank you for your consideration. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Morales? I applaud your preparation.
I run the Digital Media Institute here in Shreveport, where I teach advanced computer graphics to refugee.
I wish everyone came as prepared as you.
I'm a little disappointed there wasn't a soundtrack.
I thought about sound, and I could have done a 3D fly-through if you got.
I'm wavering now on what I think about this whole.
Something like "Wind Beneath Your Wings."
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Next time I come through, you'll get the full Hollywood effect.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Anyone else wish to speak for BAC 16-17? Anyone wish to speak against BAC 16-17? What do we hear?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion approved by Ms. Osborne, second by Mr. Stewart, with the stipulation listed. Yes. All right, please vote. All right, motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. I want to comment that your staff was excellent.
Oh, thank you very much. We'd like to hear that too. All right, second call for case BAC 7-17.
The applicant was notified on Friday via an email with a copy of the staff report and being reminded to be at the meeting, and he is not present.
And I will take motions from the floor.
Move to deny.
We have to put back in, or are we okay?
We moved it to the end.
Okay.
So a motion to deny by, excuse me, Mr. Bergeron. Second. Second by Mr. Cooper. Just for the record, Mr. Bergeron, if you would make a statement about your motion.
I think there's personally too many things that have gone on with this project that did not meet code or appears to not meet code. I think the issue is going to this extent building something without getting anything prior approved is probably my biggest issue.
And I would add that
I think we would be setting there you go, what Mr. Stewart said, by approving something that has gone on even after he'd been notified he continued building. And I think there's some issues with that.
Thank you very much. I would add that I think if this case had come before us prior to any construction, we would have denied it based on the size of the structure proposed relative to the lot size. And so I'd like to put that on record. If there are no further comments, please vote. Remember, a yes vote is to deny. Motion to deny carries unanimously. Mr. Srini?
Yes. As a follow-up on some of the reports that I wanted to get back with you, and I mentioned this during our lunch meeting, but I'm going to repeat it again. February the 8th, the MPC Board convened a public hearing on a series of additional amendments to the Unified Development Code. If you recall, we approved roughly 30 some odd amendments back on October the 18th. This is an additional 30, I think 36 or 37 amendments. There were a few changes made at the meeting, but not very many. There was a unanimous vote by the board on the 8th of February to incorporate those amendments into the UDC. I think to date we've made roughly about 75 amendments. But you need to understand the reason why those amendments are coming forward prior to getting a final vote by the City Council and the Parish Commission is because this was an attempt to negotiate with all the major stakeholders, especially in this case the Home Builders Association, as well as comments and concerns expressed to us by City Council members as well as Parish Commissioners, as well as other citizens. We also made some changes in the zoning map to reflect some of the concerns that were expressed to us by certain constituents. And so this process has been a very open process to allow a great deal of communication back and forth. Truly, my staff and myself have been negotiating down to the 11th hour, so to speak. And I always tell people this, that even if I set this date for final amendments 6 months from now, the same thing would occur again, because a lot of times folks don't realize something's happening so quickly, even though this has been 21 months of intensive work. It's always interesting to see how kind of at the last moment people begin to open their eyes and listen and hear what's going on. So we've been very responsive to that, very responsive to the concerns of the City Council and the Parish Commissioners, and so this is the result of that. And so the final vote of the Unified Development Code will now be set for February the 28th before the City Council. It will then go at the request of the Parish Commission. They ask that the City Council vote first. It will go to the Parish Commission on March the 23rd for a final vote. Once that takes place, if there's no other changes, no other 11th hour efforts by anybody, and we think we've addressed just about everything to everyone's satisfaction for the most part, then that means that the Unified Development Code will go into effect May the 15th of this year. What happens in that time between the March 23rd and the 15th, that's when a series of training efforts on the part of training my staff and getting all our policies and procedures in order to pull the switch on the 15th of May. Part of that also means an attempt to give an orientation of a training effort for both boards. So I will be, during that time period as well, reaching out to you guys to explain to you what your new role will be, what it means, what the changes will mean. At the same time, my staff is learning all of this as well. And most cities and planning organizations usually have a time period before it goes into effect. And yes, we will still be accepting applications under the current code up into roughly that time period of May the 15th. But after May 15th, then everything switches over to the UDC. You're likely to see cases that are under the current old existing code as late as June and July. But I'm thinking by August it will be pure UDC cases by that point in time. Could be a mix, but the reality is there's going to be a little bit of an overhang effect from, and we do that to transition everything legally and correctly. And some of this will involve a lot of counseling with potential applicants, where we're probably going to try to convince them to delay their efforts until the new code goes into effect, because it might make it easier, or they might not even have to do anything. It might change the dynamics so that the very thing that they're looking for will be automatically a use by right. You see what I'm saying? So there will be a lot of things that we have to do to get ready for that, and for y'all to get ready for it. So I just want to bring you to an update on that, because I believe it's going to happen. I'm cautiously optimistic. The votes are there on both bodies. I think we've come a long ways. This is 4 years plus and counting that this is being worked on. I know I've worked on it for almost 2.5 years or close to it. And the last 21 to 22 months has been truly intensive in trying to make this happen. So keep your fingers crossed. I think we're almost across the goal line. Yes, sir.
You mentioned some cases might be before, so if it goes into effect in May, that there might be some cases in June all the way through August that might have old
Yes.
codes apply. What is our, well, how should we be looking at it? Based on the old code, or we need to be looking at it on the new code, even though
Right.
it says it's based on the old at the time it's before us?
Whatever was in place at the time that the application was deemed complete
Okay,
is what code they would be under.
That's right.
okay.
And we'll give you a heads up on that. I have to be very careful. We'll have to be very careful how we word the staff reports, because we have to, give you good reasons for our position on something. But you're going to be made aware of if something needs to be looked at in a different light. But the reality is exactly what Stephen just said, is that's legally what we're held to. What it means is that if you approve, let's say you approved a mobile home in June that was under the old code in a district that doesn't allow it in the new code, it would go in as a non-conforming use. But they have a right to ask for it. But after May 15th, they don't have a right to ask for it, because you won't be seeing mobile home cases. By August, you should not see any more mobile home cases. Yes, ma'am.
I may have missed something along the way. I thought that our position, our board, would no longer be acting like this.
No, you will still stay as the zoning board of appeals, but you will only see variances and appeals. Like if somebody wanted to appeal an action being taken by an enforcement action by Allen, you would see those appeals. Anybody today that was requesting a variance would be still a case sitting in front of you.
We'll still do those.
Yes, ma'am.
They don't go, okay, then.
Now, do special exceptions go away?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
They do. And there's a lot of things that will be real different. And you guys, what I may end up doing, I'm just saying, I'm just talking off the top of my head, is that I will schedule a meeting for you every month. But there may be sometimes when you don't really need to have a meeting.
Will we set a certain number of cases that
we might do
generate
that? We might say you have to have a certain number of cases for us to have a meeting. And that could come with some variation. But what might end up happening, instead of having to meet 12 times a month, 12 times a year, you may only have to meet 6 times a year.
So how does that affect an applicant, though, if they have to wait two to 3 months to see?
And that's why I said I'm being very cautious what I say here, because I might be forced to have to go ahead and have you come together for one case.
Right.
I'm going to run those traps to make certain what I can and cannot do. So I'm trying to say that with a grain of salt. Yes.
I will say, on my behalf, I'll come in every month if that means somebody doesn't have to wait.
Me too, if it
Sure.
stays close to the lunch hour, and it's going to be a
Sure.
brief meeting, it has little impact on my schedule.
And
I would hate somebody, the way I look
Yeah.
at it, from my standpoint, as people of Shreveport shouldn't have to wait.
that would cause them to wait 2 months instead of having to wait, they come in 6 weeks in advance, but
Yeah,
if they would have to wait
business.
longer. That's
Although we
right.
won't be operating necessarily, you think our mix will change to more residential? Most
Yes.
variances or lot size and
Yes,
setbacks?
you'll be mostly residential, but I think there will be some commercials, because every once in a while there'll be a commercial request
Right.
where maybe somebody's trying to build something and they need a variance.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with what was just said,
Right.
because I think,
As I do.
part of our obligation is,
Okay, and if y'all are okay with that, I'm okay with that, because I don't want us to not be customer friendly.
Exactly.
That's the last thing we don't want someone to come and say, well, I had to wait 3 months before I got my variance.
Right.
Well, that's not fair. I just threw that out there because in some places they do kind of set a certain number of cases. But if y'all are open and willing to meet whenever there is a need, then I say, then let's do it. I agree.
Somebody told me that you had tried to get that it couldn't be appealed to the city council, our decisions, but I understand that was taken out.
I'm trying to think what we're talking about here. Okay,
No,
Cases, our
That
cases
hasn't
are.
changed.
go
No,
straight to-
your cases will still have to be appealed to district court. The thing that changed, and it doesn't affect y'all, is special use requests. A special use permit is a new provision in our UDC for certain things, like daycares, or some districts it might be like for a bar or lounge.
For the church?
Church, no. But charter schools, yes, in certain districts. And so, like some of the single-family districts. So what would happen is that goes to the MPC board. If the MPC board makes a decision to approve it or deny it, it's supposed to stop right there. Now the provision, and then it was going to go on to district court if someone appealed it. Now the new provision that we were asked to change, and we've already made that change in the amendments, is that the MPC board makes the decision, but it can be appealed to either the city council or the parish commission.
Okay. But our decisions are appealable.
All your
only
decisions go to
the court.
district court. And I've said this to you, and I'm not just saying this. Technically speaking, the ZBA in most community is actually the single most powerful body, because their decisions can't be appealed to council and parish. If you go to other communities, that's the way it is, and so you have to go to district court. So you have what you make a decision on has much greater finality than some of the other boards. So I will rehash all that with y'all.
Yeah.
We'll lay out the pattern, and now that I hear from you that you don't want to make somebody wait forever and a day, which I think is great, we'll set up a schedule that will work for you. And what we'll do is we'll set it each month, just like we do now, the third Wednesday. But what we might do is I'll let y'all know if we don't have any applications pending, then you don't have to meet that month, and we'll let you know that. So, but that may happen every once in a while. But I'm thinking there'll be enough activity in needing variances, and there may be activity for appeals of decisions that need to be made. So every once in a while we get those. So, yes, sir.
4 of the 7 cases you had today had variances.
Right. Right. So your agendas will be smaller and more focused in a certain area. So,
All right, thank you very much. Anything from the board?
yes, sir.
Mr. Holland?
is there any continued opposition that you're aware of on that Madison Park storage facility?
Well, let me just kind of give you an update on that. Mr. Leonard has been very cooperative. After, the MPC approved that storage facility, he came back to me and said, I'm willing to do something better. And that's when he proposed adding on retail and office and restaurant use on the bottom floor. And so he changed his design so that by the time he got to the city council with the appeal, he actually had a better plan and a smaller footprint.
Oh, great.
So my understanding is that he's even considering now, and this is up to him because he already has an approved site plan already for that project. My understanding is that he's considering having an architect do some further redesign on the facade to make it better, even better than what he got approved through us. And that my understanding is that there's a possibility the project could grow because there's a possibility he might buy some additional property nearby. So we're open to all of that, but that's up to him and his communication with various groups and neighborhood active groups in the Querbees Park area, trying to see what can happen that will make that an even better project. But as it stands right now, it is more of a mixed-use project than it was when it originally came in the door. So we went down from about 89,000 square feet down to 79,000 square feet, and it's a better project with more landscaping. And so we'll see what further changes, and I think that was a difficult case, but it was a moving target, and it was a case where things got better with each step, and Mr. Leonard was very receptive to making those changes, which I complimented him on that. I always encourage a developer like that, if they're willing to change and reflect what the neighborhood is wanting, that ends up being a win-win for everybody. So if it changes more, we'll let you know.
But it was not appealed past the city council.
Or, no, sir, it has not, there's been no, to date, I am not aware of any petition filed with the district court. And I honestly don't know what basis they would have on that, because there wasn't anything that was done incorrectly on that case. So it was all done according to the letter of the law, and the city council had the right to make as many changes as they want. And I was the one who encouraged the city council to change the use approval to include the restaurant and retail and office, so that Mr. Leonard could do his project the way he had approved under the site plan. So it was all very, very flexible, but the whole intent was to make it flexible so we could get a better project for that site. So it's been interesting.
I think part of it was about the opposition had been in their career a commercial real estate developer and like that, and so they had their own ideas about what they could make happen.
And you know,
Ricky always does everything first class.
And it's a first come first served scenario. Whoever gets to the guy who's selling it and wants to sell it.
Well, he wasn't trying to develop it, but his old work background, he knew more than anybody else did.
Right. You know. So you know I hear what you're saying, but the reality is, one of the nice things is my understanding is that some of those same parties that were in opposition to the project have actually reached out to Mr. Leonard to have some conversations about how to make the project even better.
It could end up being a great catalyst for that whole area.
Well, it really can be, because there's been no investment in for so long, and this actually will change the dynamics of that neighborhood, and I believe there will be a spillover effect that will make a difference to a lot of properties in that area. And I think our patience paid out to get to a better project, because when it first came in, it was very similar to the rest of the projects that Mr. Leonard had done in the area. This is a very different project from what he's done anywhere else. So this shows his openness and willingness to be flexible, and that's what I appreciate. I ask that from all the developers that I possibly can. Some get the drift of it and understand, and others don't. And in this case, we had a very cooperative attitude, and that was good. So, is everybody happy? No, never will be. But I'd say far more people today have changed their minds in the last several weeks and are not in opposition to it.
Any more questions or comments from the board? Thank you very much. We're adjourned.